Okay, there we go. I keep
There we are.
want to say we're live, but
Well, we're live. We're live in the studio, and we're
yeah,
recording for your later viewing pleasure.
yeah,
Talking about Justified City
yeah.
Primeval, episode 4.
We have to mention because I were talking about this before we hit the record button. I get annoyed with time zones. How it's like fucking four, like my 4 o'clock in the morning is different than your 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a pain in the ass. But
Yeah,
that's why it was Enzo asked like, why don't you guys go live? I said because it's kind of hard with our time zones to schedule something live. So plus, I mean, just because I hit 1K, I'm still not like, I don't have like 100,000 subscribers. I'm not gonna like, hey guys, have a live stream and 2 people watch it yet. So
no, I like the fact that we can record it, because then if there's a problem, we can fix it
yeah.
later or
So
whatever.
but yeah, before we start, I mean, this is why I said I like discussions. Definitely with the two of us, we've been liking it, but I'm getting some comments. Like I wouldn't say negative comments, but just more criticisms. Like we're
I'm
talking
getting a
about.
lot of negative comments.
Really?
I'm getting
Wow.
because I've been sharing these. I'm just now off Facebook restriction,
Okay.
but I've been sharing these on my private page and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I'm getting harassed
Wow.
by like, I don't think anybody's read the books, man. I think I'm like the only person who's ever read the fucking books, and they're more like I've said in the previous streams, they're more book related content than with the exception of tonight's episode, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
People are looking for Justified 2.0, and if that's what you're looking for,
Yeah.
as I've said in previous streams, you just leave it alone. You're not going to get it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I know like what R and everybody. I just said I think I see where they're coming from in a sense that you expect Raylan to be more action packed, but so far we're only 3 episodes in, and episode 4, I'm not expecting the Punisher show, and I don't. I have to rewatch the entire series Justified, but I don't remember there being gunfight scenes every single episode.
There wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't, but it was a slicker, more fast paced show. Whereas this one's more of a crime, a study crime drama. Again, like if you like Jackie Brown, if you like Out of Sight, both, and when I say this, I mean both the books and the movies. If you like 310 to Yuma, all this other Elmore Leonard content, if you like that stuff, Mr. Majestic, you'll like this. But if you don't, and your only Elmore Leonard interaction has been the TV show Justified, you're probably not going to like this.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of one or the other.
Yeah, so far as I mean, at least my comments, people said not that they haven't hated it. I think just that this is slower than they anticipated.
Yeah.
So, but all right. So yeah, starting this episode up. So I'm on Hulu right now checking this out, and a little recap from last episode, and we start off with freaking Mansell holding a gun to this Albanian douchebag here.
Yeah.
And I did like this freaking scene. I'm wondering if he's gonna do it, and it's weird, like we talked about with Sandy. Sandy's just like she's getting squeamish and stuff about what Mansell's doing. And it's like sweetheart, do you know what this guy's done and shit?
Yeah, it seems like every episode she seems to forget what he was like previously.
Yeah,
it's really weird. I'm not sure. She's an interesting character, but she's not a very well written character. Because she doesn't seem to have a lot of agency outside of him. And, again, like you just said, you're looking at it and she doesn't seem to realize the person that she's with. And we're supposed to be under the impression that she's been with him for many years.
Yeah.
So I don't get that. But again, maybe more will be, I guess, it's the lie that you tell yourself at the end of the day. So.
That's what I'm saying. I see where people talk about, like you said, she's not a well-written character, but I do admit that I've known females in my own personal life where they know what their boyfriend or husband is, and like you said, telling yourself the lie, knowing what they are versus seeing it. It's like it's one thing her knowing about it, now she's seeing it more firsthand. It's almost like he was doing all this shit, like not behind her back, but when she was away from him, and now she's seeing it more hands-on, like what a fucking monster this guy is.
Yeah, he's definitely, it's just, he doesn't, for whatever else you may think of him, he doesn't seem to be a dishonest character. he seems to be pretty true to himself.
Yeah.
So that being said, you almost wonder why is she like surprised by any of this shit that he pulls? But she seems to be consistently surprised.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Pretty cool. The episode starts off with fucking he puts the guy's leg right there, and the guy's like, screw you. And it's like, well, I'll give you the option, son. Either I put a bullet in your head or I break your fucking leg, and hit the switch, and that shit had to hurt.
Yeah, it definitely is not something I've actually seen one of those doors drop on somebody before.
Yeah.
It's not a pretty picture. So it's definitely and the one that I saw was not tempered steel, safe room type style. It was just a regular drop down door elevator type thing, and it actually hit a guy in its shoulder and like dislocated his shoulder. So I imagine that was pretty rough.
Still, I think a good way to start off the episode. We just keep seeing more of Mansell. What a fucking maniac this guy is.
Yeah, he's a great villain. He's definitely a great villain.
Yeah, so I like so Raylan comes to the hospital, and like the little freaking joke she talks about, these two guys got Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes, I love the payoff of what I said last week, where I said they pulled a move from Beverly Hills Cop, and I like the fact that she threw. And keep in mind that this book and the dialogue and stuff was written in 81 or 82.
Yeah.
So it definitely was not. Beverly Hills Cop had not come out by then. So I like that little callback there. I always like being right. You know that.
Yeah. That's cool too. Like even Raylan, because this is still how much I still want to focus on the whole fish out of water, because he comes in there and Krill's is like, hey, the hat shows up when all the fun's done. But Raylan is not dressed like a guy from Detroit.
No, I don't think you'd see too many guys in Detroit walking around with a 10-gallon cowboy hat on. But did you notice that Raylan is kind of taken? They've not exactly named this like a task force, and yeah, he's the only federal agent there. But have you noticed he's sort of taken over now that it's a snake hunt more than anything else. Raylan's kind of taken over the investigation, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's just like they're all just like he walks in, they're all looking up to him and like talking to him and shit. And yeah. Like what Krill's telling him, he's just like, he's like, they say go fuck yourself. He fell down some stairs because it's like he's not gonna rat,
Yeah, we're sort of diverging away a little bit from the source material here with this Albanian subplot.
Really?
So this is definitely something that has come up before in other Elmore Leonard stories, but it's not at this point now with the show. We're sort of diverging away from the book City Primeval. Again, I mean, not that really matters, because just having Raylan there diverges away, but at the same time, it's definitely we're moving away. I get what they're trying to do with it. They have to have just like the Justified TV series. There's always that crime boss in the background, kind of pulling the strings. I think for the first 4 seasons, it was what was the crime boss's name? And Theo Tonin. And
go back and watch it.
Yeah. So I just got done with a rewatch. I got up to season 5 and started having to do stuff again, moving and work and stuff. But yeah, Theo Tonin was like the big crime boss. I don't know if they ever said he was Greek or Italian or what, but Albanians have popped up in Elmore Leonard stories before. Not so much in this one, but again, it's interesting. It's an interesting subplot. It helps push the narrative forward.
Yeah. So Maureen says freaking shattered leg broken in 5 places. Like,
yikes.
That had to hurt.
Yeah.
Well, of course, and Raylan being the fucking guy that he is, he's like, well, they're all gonna, like, he's not stupid. Where these Albanians now, they're gonna know that they're gonna freaking get Mansell, through Sandy. So
yeah. I'm wondering what his end game is there with that. Is that just that white hat type, I want to protect the damsel in distress thing that he always did in Justified? Because there always seemed to be, whether it be Ava Crowder or his wife or Jackie Nevada, and then later that the young girl, I forget her name, but there always seemed to be a damsel in distress and Justified. So I don't know if that's something that's a plot point here.
Yeah, I like how friggin' Raylan just comes in and talks to the two Albanian series. All right, tell your boss we got to talk. I have a boss. He's like, everyone's boss has got a boss. Even the boss has a boss.
Yeah. That's definitely some Elmore Leonard dialogue right there. The son that's the executive producer on this show is definitely channeling some of his dad's. That's definitely Elmore Leonard-ish dialogue. I'm also digging the obnoxious cop. Brill. He's
Brill.
he's starting to, I'm starting to get, he's pretty funny. And he gets some really good scenes in this episode.
Yeah, like where he tells the guy, he's like, well, tell your boss that he's like federal agent Raylan. He goes, the name won't mean nothing to him, but perhaps the federal part will mean something to him. Trying to play that card.
Right. Which it did. Yeah. Which it worked.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, boss wants to set up a sit down talk, and of course Raylan's like, yeah, funny how now you have a boss, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't wrong.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still like kind of like weirded out by so freaking what's up Mansell walking around with these tidy whities. I mean, I'm just like I'm not staring so much as I'm jealous. Like, god damn, man. Like
that was a big plot point in the book, him having a huge hog and him wanting to walk around, show it off. And there was also a little bit of a, was he maybe a little gay? Did he get a little gay for the stay when he was in the joint? And is there a little sneaky time ever have happened with the bar owner? So like what, and they kind of hint at that a little bit in this episode near the end.
Yeah.
With the Kokomo dancing around and, so, I don't know. It's definitely, I think it lends itself to him being so unhinged that, he can be cool and calculating and then he can lose his shit and then he can walk around, in his tidy whities and his, dashiki stuff. And, I mean, he's just always a little bit on the unhinged side.
Yeah, I've got problems. So good thing to myself that how much is the actor? How much is somebody's packing something in there?
I don't think I want to know that answer.
So, but like, yeah. So of course, this is what Sandy again. Sandy's like, freaking, my nerves are shot and stuff. And she's like, my hands are shaking. Like, why did you do that for? And it still plays on to like, you helped him break this guy's fucking leg, but like, you're just, you're shocked by what he's doing. She's like,
it's not like it was it's not like it was a secret what they were going to do. They were going to rob him. What did she think it was going to happen? Did she think he was just going to stick a gun in the guy's face? And again, did she not know that he didn't have cash laying around? Or, I mean, it just seems like a lot of, again, I get it. She's just a little cutie pie that likes to smoke weed. But at the same time, I don't know. She seems awfully dense.
Yeah.
She seemed a little smarter near the beginning of the series, and now she just seems like she's really dense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
Well, that's what I told you. Even from episode 1, I didn't know much about this character. 4 episodes in, I'm like, I have no qualms thinking that she's going to be the reason that he gets caught or killed. I just,
I could see that.
Or he's going to want to kill, or he's going to want just killing her himself because she's a fucking liability.
Well, since Raylan is an insert from diverging away from the source material, I can't even speculate. I don't know. Is this going to end in a Raylan type duel? The trailers would certainly make you think that it would, but who knows? At this point, and you know what? I'm not going to lie. I kind of dig that. I don't. Yeah. I don't want to just watch a carbon copy of a book that I read. I want it to diverge a little bit so that I kind of don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so really good scene here with Raylan and Toma. Toma's the boss and Brill.
Yes.
And he recognizes like almost like this has a John Wick vibe where it's like, yeah, I know my kid's a fucking idiot. But he's my kid. And a lot of these mob boss guys, but like he gives a really good speech about justice versus crime, and he doesn't want
justice versus order. Justice, like he's not into order, he just wants justice, and that's sort of a analog to how Raylan is. Raylan wears a star, he's a lawman, but at the same time, he just as soon prefer to, or at least he has in the past, he's just as soon prefer to just shoot it out with the bad guy and then problem solved.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with Brill here, he gives up the name of Mansell, and I like the fucking look that Raylan gives him, like, because Hey, dude, you shouldn't have said that. But and they have a pretty good speech after that because and that's like Brill's right, but Raylan, it's yeah, that's why I think some people may think that Raylan is softer than Justified because it seems like Raylan doesn't want to involve the Albanians because he wants Mansell behind bars, and Brill's just like, well, fuck, we're doing a favor by have the Albanians kill him and shit.
Yeah, I think Brill would be, Brill is your typical hardened inner city cop where he'd be fine seeing street justice done. He doesn't give a shit. He's got a stack of cases. I don't feel like Raylan wants Mansell to go to jail. I think he wants to. I think he's pulling one of his own old tricks. I think he's trying to maneuver him into a gunfight. That's where I see it. I mean, I don't know. Again, because it differs so much, because it differs so much from the source material. I can't even predict. I don't know.
I'll say. So let's see. Moving forward, this I love you always have this fucking douchebag guy up front with the two Albanians, and okay, they're gonna bribe him for information where Sandy's at, and he's like, yeah. He basically tells them, go fuck off, and I'm telling myself that, and I mean, I even going to fucking jail, I knew there was because we talked about us going to jail, and there's a certain like respect level and how you deal with certain people, and I'm watching this scene just like Jesus Christ, dude. You're working a job and two fucking Albanian mobsters show up and shit. What do you think was gonna happen?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. And considering, the way that they were only whooping his ass inside the car, but when they were holding him over the fucking railing, I'm like, that's exactly what would happen. It's like, yeah, we tried to be nice to you, son, but you had to go piss us off.
Yeah. He's yeah, I don't know where that's also a little strange, isn't it? From the adversarial way that he's seen I mean, I don't know if he's like the floor manager or like what his function is exactly, but I mean, we know he's Sandy's boss. So like, it seems weird that he would have held out. Like, why wouldn't he just give up the information right away? I mean, what was he trying to prove there? That's weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even fucking to this whole like that lifestyle, but even I'm street smart enough to know that if I was working a kind of job and two guys that show up, I'm like, yeah, she's here. Here you guys go.
Yeah, here's her address, here's her phone number, here's her Snapchat. Here's all that stuff. Go for it. Here, do you want to come back to my office and I'll MapQuest it out and print it off for you? I mean, what do you
exactly?
Here's her W-2 form. I don't give a shit. I don't know. It's odd. I mean, I don't know what kind of white knight bullshit he was trying to pull, or if he was just being obstinate for the sake of being obstinate. But he certainly paid the price for it.
And look, here's our good old scumbag buddy Tyrone. And again, we said this. I could see guys like this. He's all complaining about his ankle bracelet being too tight with no fucking socks on, his dirty ass feet up on her desk. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you fucking poor victim that just had all your charges dropped against you for fucking assaulting Raylan and this kid. But
yeah, that kid, I can't believe that kid's not buried under the jail, even just for his other stuff that he had going on. Forget the fact that they managed to get the stuff he did in Florida dropped. I mean, I don't get that. That's a thing that, I mean, and as you and I know, that a felon with even caught with a firearm is an automatic 5 years federal prison.
Yeah. Well, remember the judge is the reason he got all them fucking charges. Like, well, these
he could wipe out the charges of the actions that he did. But I mean, the gun was he wouldn't be able to do that. That would have been out of the judge's hands. That's an automatic federal charge.
Yeah,
that's what I went to prison for the first time. So it can get lowered, but it's out of the state judge's hands at that point. A felon with a gun is automatic Fed time.
Yeah, I don't. You know more than me then about that. So basically, I just that guys like Tyrone, we see people like that all the time. To fucking just the whole entitlement thing. It's go fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
So now Breland has to talk to Carolyn about like he's talking to her, and this entire scene is just more of like he's breaking down how Mansell fucked up his leg and everything, and he's not going to talk. She's trying to defend her client, but I love when Raylan's like, I think you realize that you're way in over your head, but she's still like battling Raylan where she's like, I don't know. She has like this weird kind of like lawyer sense of honor, which I get that. But even Raylan said, this is, this is my job. He's like, but it's like, this is more than you're ready to handle. So
Yeah, I again, this is another instance. This whole episode is a lot of people acting against their own self-interest.
yeah,
Maybe that's the only person. There's only like two people that are acting in their own interest in this episode, and it's Detective Brill and it's Mansell himself. Everybody is like doing actions. You could name any character in this, and if you look at it and you break it down in this episode, they're doing stuff against their own self-interest. Stuff that's hurting themselves.
yeah,
So whether it be the guy not giving up the Albanian guy not giving up Mansell's name, the young girl, the Asian girl that doesn't want to give up the information and gets her teeth pulled,
yeah.
whether or not it's Carolyn, still being obstinate, or what's the bar owner's name again?
Sweetie.
Sweetie, going against what he knows he should do and getting Mansell locked up,
Yeah.
and he decides to, dance around to Kokomo and make a deal with him to try to, everybody in this episode, with the exception of those two people, even Raylan himself to a certain degree, are doing things against their own self-interest. It's very strange. I wonder if it was written that way on purpose, or if I'm just seeing it that way.
Well, it's all Raylan says to her. She's like, "What do you want from me?" He's like, "I don't want him to hurt you, and I'm afraid he's going to." And okay, but then we get to this part here with Mansell, friggin' Sandy and Sweetie, and for a fact that he really fucking thought that, because he's like, "Yeah, so your place smells like bacon in here." And he's like, "That gun's at the bottom of the ocean, right?" Looks at Sandy and no, I didn't put the gun in the bottom of the river. Oh shit.
I was wondering how long that was going to go on for. I'm glad they didn't drag that out longer and make it a bunch of melodrama. Do you think he knew the whole time that she hadn't gotten rid of it like she was supposed to?
Well, yeah. Well, definitely. Like at first, he may not have realized, but he can tell by her mannerisms. Like, I know you're fucking lying to me. I gotta prove it. And I like the back and forth with Mansell and Sweetie, because he's like, "Or you told baby girl to plant that piece in my spot and set me up to ride your rap." And Mansell's like, "No, I didn't set you up, dude." And the funny part is, you really know that Mansell didn't set Sweetie up. He just, she fucked up.
Right. That's such an Elmore Leonard dialogue too. That's even the name of one of his books that Raylan is the main character in, called Riding the Rap.
Yeah.
That's such an Elmore Leonardism. You know what I mean? You'll find it in a lot of his books. You got to ride your own rap. Or you're trying to get me to ride the rap for you, or something like that. So
yeah, it's pretty cool where Sweetie wants Mansell to pay for his stuff, and he goes, "I got no money," and grabs one of her fucking rings.
Yeah.
But he's like, "I want this Albanian rock," and of course, he pulls out the infamous book. Now, you can't read nothing right now, but as Sweetie's looking through the book, all I see is just numbers and graphs. But whatever's in this book is pretty goddamn important now, because now Sweetie's like, "Oh, he's seeing the book. Like, what is in this fucking book, man?"
What do you think is in the book?
I mean, I'm just seeing numbers, so I'm guessing it's got to be. I would just assume people of power, people fucking their bank accounts, maybe, or their. It's got to. Well, it's illegal shit too, so it wouldn't be bank accounts, but I don't know. It's something with numbers, obviously, but whose number is, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming he's a judge, so politicians.
Well, see, it begs the question, because if it's something where it's blackmail evidence, then it's either going to be one-off things where they go in and like they go blackmail and the blackmail goes wrong and they get rid of the person, or it's just a MacGuffin, which is just a thing that's used to push the narrative forward.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're episode 4 into an 8-episode limited series. Yeah. So I mean, what are they really going to be introducing new characters in episode 5? That seems really unlikely. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it's just going to be used as a MacGuffin, and they're never going to actually get a chance to really do a whole bunch of blackmail. They might like engage with one-off character or something like that. But I'm going to guess right now that it becomes just something that they have and they try to utilize, or maybe even winds up being a bargaining tool to get one of the main characters out of trouble, like the lawyer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So our two Albanian buddies here, they find out Sandy's I guess this is still her apartment because this is her roommate, even though she's not there anymore. And it's kind of weird. Like, it's like, is this her apartment? Because her and Mansell been staying in that high rise the whole.
Yeah, no, it's her apartment.
Okay.
But she was shacked up with the one dude, and the dude, she's house sitting
Oh,
for the
right,
one
yeah.
dude. So she has an apartment with the Asian girl, certainly. But she's probably just has some of her shit there and is off, running around doing something else.
Yeah.
Staying in the nice place. So
Yeah. That's cool. They both bust in and stuff too, and they kind of rough her up and shit. And it's kind of funny where it's like she doesn't want to give up her friend, but still,
again, another character acting out of their own self-interest.
yeah. Like fucking when I still like the fucking line where she's shouting and whatever it says Lao, but he's like, hey, do you know what this is right here? She's like, fucking, what is it?
Oh yeah, that's such an Elmore Leonard line. That is an Elmore Leonard line through and through. This is an Albanian teeth extraction tool. And like, why is it that? Oh, it's a pair of pliers, but because he's Albanian, he's holding it. That's what it is. That is such an Elmore Leonard line.
It's like, what makes it Albanian? The fact that I'm holding it. Like, oh shit. And this again, this scene right here. So basically she calls Sandy and says, Sandy needs you to come back here. And fucking Mansell, being the maniac that he is, he orders a steak. And I'll tell you, fucking this steak speech he gave, holy Christ, man. Like, dude, I'm telling myself, like, you're a fucking I couldn't imagine working as a restaurant server and some guy says some shit like this.
Oh yeah, if he came into my restaurant and was doing that shit, I'd have come out from behind the bar and we'd have gone a few rounds. That was great. That was some stupid shit right there.
Now,
at first I thought he was just fucking with her, and then I'm like, no, this guy's actually serious.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm not much of a server, but so is that a true? I mean, I know like well, medium, and shit, or like whatever. Friggin' just say well done or medium rare, but he says he wants it black and blue. And I never heard that term before.
Yeah, it's a term. It's definitely something that it's just basically mooing, but it's a little burnt on the outside. Yeah. So it's more like raw on the inside, and it's got like a crisp outer layer on the outside. Yeah. Some people even call that Pittsburgh or Pittsburghing the steak.
Yeah. So basically, her roommate's lying to her about a broken pipe, and he's like, "Yeah, too fucking bad." He's like, "We're gonna go once I'm done with this steak." Now, I guess the payoff later on will be that does Mansell know that her roommate's lying her ass off, or is he just a dick who wants to finish the steak? I'm not sure. Because later on, there's a payoff with that.
Yeah, I sort of was getting the impression, and maybe it's just because I got off work late and I was just watching the episode with a little bit of sleepy eyes. I sort of got the impression he knew that this was a come on. A come on is a term where it's just like, fish in a barrel, or basically a cool way of saying it's a trap. So did he know it was a come on, or is he just like really fucking lucky?
That's hard to tell. See, it's like what you said, even in episode 1. I think that this fucker, there's a reason he hasn't been caught yet, and because he's a psychopath or a sociopath, either one, that he's very paranoid, but he's not fucking stupid. And I think that he's always self-aware, and he's so. It's like I don't think this was luck. I need to believe that he's such a fucking insane bad guy that he knew that. Why would just her roommate? Oh, she has a broken pipe all of a sudden. That's leaking.
Yeah,
it's too much coincidence, and he's too smart to fucking fall for such an easy trap.
I could go with that. I could definitely go with that. And then at the end of the day, it's like this. It's like coming from his perspective as a sociopath. Okay, so the Asian girl or Laotian girl has a busted pipe. What problem is that of his? He doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if it's not a trap? Or if it's not some kind of a come on, then it's just some chick that's being inconvenienced, and maybe Sandy's stuff gets wet. Who gives a shit? So it's like, for him, it's win-win, and he, I like the fact that he's such a wild man in certain circumstances, but in other circumstances, he knows how to show enough restraint. Yeah. Like the way that he circle jerked the cops in the previous episode, pulling the Beverly Hills Cop tactic. And then now with, the way that he's kind of playing chess instead of checkers with both Raylan and Sweetie and the lawyer to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely, I like to think that he's not, nobody's that lucky. So he's definitely got some skin in the game, as far as he knows exactly what it is that people are trying to get out of him. He knows that there's people waiting for him. He's not stupid enough to think that he just did this to some Albanian rich kid and there wouldn't be some consequences. So why not wait and just see what happens?
Yeah. Now this is again another good scene because we have between Carolyn and Sweetie. Now she's basically saying, "Hey, listen, okay, I got a deal for you. If you fucking give up the gun and give up Mansell, you get immunity, and freaking this is how you stop being collateral damage." And it's funny with Carolyn when she's talking to Raylan, you're thinking to yourself that is she really just fucking stupid and she's trying to help Mansell out, but then she's going to Sweetie saying no, she's trying to get rid of Mansell. So I think at this point in the series, it's not that she doesn't want to take him down, is that she's more afraid of Mansell than Raylan.
Oh yeah, oh for sure,
Because with this whole Sweetie thing, she clearly wants Mansell gone, so she's trying to do it like she's trying to go do it like by going through Sweetie and stuff. And of course,
I almost wonder if she's hesitant for Mansell to go down because she's worried that he will take Sweetie down with him.
Yeah, good way we're looking at it. So, yeah, and of course, but this is kind of funny where he Sweetie fucking sweetens the pot with that now. So he's said the little black book, and he's seen it, and he's telling her, he's like, yeah, the judge is the infamous black book, and she's like, it's real, because of course she doesn't believe it's real, she hasn't seen it, and he's like, yeah, he's like, enough dirt in that book, and he goes to make some real moves. So
yeah, that sort of shits on my theory that I originally had. I don't know if I said it out loud or not, but I sort of assumed maybe she might even be one of the blackmail victims in the book, but I guess he would have said that if that was the case. So,
yeah,
I guess that's one theory I had that wasn't correct. So,
yeah, and he's basically trying to fucking bribe her, like, hey, there's enough dirt in this book where it's like it could advance your career and make you pretty fucking powerful. So,
yeah. Always good to have a powerful judge own you favors.
That's true. Yeah, so we get good old fucking Raylan and Brill here out doing a stakeout, and all right, so and beforehand the Albanians were telling her roommate that okay, she's got 20 minutes to come home. If not, we take one tooth. 15 minutes, we take two teeth, and so forth.
Yeah, that sort of changed the roommate's tune pretty quickly.
Yep.
It's one thing to be tough when somebody's smacking you around, but when someone starts yanking teeth out with Albanian teeth extractors, aka pliers, then it's definitely it's definitely gives it a different ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so Raylan and Brill come in, and they stop them from ripping out more teeth and shit. And of course, she is pissed off, and she hits the fucking big guy in the back, and then Brill, he follows him, shoots him a couple of times. Raylan handcuffs him, and it's like I think that's where some people may think about the old Raylan. They maybe would expect Raylan to shoot this guy, but now he doesn't, he arrests him. I mean, I don't think that every episode Justified he was always killing all the bad guys. He was arresting some people.
Yeah, I definitely, even I kind of thought they might go for the guy would go for the gun and Raylan would have to drop him.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a cool scene watching Raylan. I mean, Raylan did not get distracted by the other guy running away. He did not get distracted by the roommate hitting the guy with the chair or whatever the hell it is she did. He kept his weapon trained on the primary guy the whole time, and just basically saying no, don't do it, because you're an inch away from death right now.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that scene right there, Raylan. That's the scene they show with the Hulu commercials for Justify City Primeval, and Raylan just looking right there, fucking Mansell, just like staring at him and shit. Mansell's just slowly driving by and just like like that to him, like. That's all I was like, damn, that shit paid off. And then Raylan kind of gives him that look of kind of like it's almost like a smirk, but also like, I knew you kind of set this up in some way, and there's reason Mansell showed up after the fact.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of luck, but probably more that he kind of knew the whole situation was a come on. So definitely the end of the episode. I like the back and forth between Carolyn and Raylan. I really, really hope I don't want to see the next episode with them waking up him
Mm,
drinking coffee and them waking up having had an affair.
yeah,
It's not just because she's not the most likable character. It's just like, come on, man, he could do a lot better than that. I mean,
yeah,
he was with some baddies on
yeah,
Justified. So, and I know he's gotten a little older, but I mean,
yeah.
Jesus, man, how many TikTok videos and YouTube reels are showing him like still being this, chicks are
Yeah.
still going wild for this guy. They don't care that he's got gray hair.
Oh,
So, I mean, and Carolyn is, she's a put together woman, but I mean,
yeah.
she's, a
Yeah.
middle-aged black woman, not exactly in great shape. And definitely, you know what I mean? Like if it was
Yeah.
Angela Bassett or something like that
That,
from
yeah.
9/11, I could see that could have been a baddie.
Yeah.
And but this is not something that I want to see. And I'm going to tell you right now, if it happens, then the people who have a little bit of interest in this, they're gonna lose the audience in the
Yeah.
next, if the next episode is Raylan waking up with her and she's making coffee and he banged her out, it's not gonna be good, man. It
Yeah.
is not gonna be a
Oh,
good situation.
like I mentioned that beforehand, it was kind of cool that she was being tailed by the Albanians, and Raylan was kind of warning her about this shit. She doesn't want to fucking listen. And of course, she pulls over and she calls him, and Raylan basically saves the day. And she's like, "Yeah, I've never been so happy to see a cop in my life." And he just gives the Albanians a good speech where it's like, "Yeah, tell your boss that she's off limits and I'm protecting her and shit." But
Yeah, that's a typical Raylan move. He's done that many times on Justified, pulling up behind the
yeah,
criminals that are following somebody else and giving them the little speech of, okay, well, here's the deal. You're gonna go ahead. I get it. You're the bad guys following the damsel in distress, but I'm here now,
yeah,
so that's over with, and
yeah.
fuck off. Drive away, be nice. I
Mm.
mean, he's super polite, but there's always that hint of death
Well,
behind
yeah.
everything that he says.
Yeah, because it's like you're saying, he's being polite, but also you look at his arm, his fucking gun in his hand, they're about like half an inch apart. Like
Oh yeah, I
he's
mean,
ready to
yeah,
fucking draw it any second. Like,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly, and they'd already had one gunfight that night. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm sure that they got some kind of a text message or
yeah,
some kind of information that the other Albanian duo
yeah.
had met with bad intentions,
Mm.
so and a bad result. So they definitely were just like, all right, well, discretion is a better part of valor, so
Mm.
let's fuck off for now.
I didn't get
So
what do you think was the whole point of this scene with Mansell inviting Sweetie to the penthouse? I didn't fully understand that.
Again, like I said, there's hints in the book that there might have been some kind of gay shit going on at some point when they were in jail together.
Mm.
So I mean, it's definitely strongly hinted at that Sweetie is, a gay guy, and that kid that worked for him was maybe one of his young lovers or something like that. So, and that's,
Mm.
I mean, a true sociopath like Mansell, he doesn't care. Whatever he has to do to manipulate somebody, he will definitely
Yeah,
utilize. So it means nothing to him, man, woman,
yeah.
whatever. As long as he gets what he wants at the end of the day, it's totally fine.
Well, from what I gathered, he's just talking to Sweetie about splitting the middle down 50-50, and you're a smart man. And it seems like he's talking to him about a business proposition with obviously the book. So the book is that's kind of like all Mansell has is the book is fucking leverage. So it's kind of like, you and me partnering together and we can get rich off this goddamn book.
Well, yeah, Mansell's smart enough to know what the book is, that it's in some kind of way, it's payoffs, blackmail evidence like that. He's smart enough to understand that, but he doesn't have the contacts there in
Mm.
Detroit that Sweetie would have,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't have a way into it. Like, he like say that it's some crooked reverend or city commissioner or something like that that's probably African American. He can't go rocking up to the house and go start trying to talk to him. But
Yeah.
Sweetie, having all the contacts that he's had for 30, 40 years living in that town,
Mm.
he could do it. Not too dissimilar to the way that they used to do it, where Sweetie would set up local drug dealers for Mansell to rob.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, at the end, we have, Raylan's just out there watching, being a fucking bodyguard for Carolyn, and she comes out with some good old alcohol, and they have a nice little chat. And you can tell she's definitely warming up to him, but and it's even funny where she's like, "I don't want your help," and he's like, "Yeah, well, the thing is, you're still part of this investigation," and it's kind of half where it's like, I wouldn't say he's liking her, but it's like, I kind of care about you where I don't want to see an innocent person get killed, but I'm still doing my job. So it's a, don't take it too personal, but it is his job to keep you safe.
Funny that she touches on a particular plot point without really realizing that she did. She's saying, "Oh, the daughter's out of the picture, so now you're unencumbered," meaning he could be out on the town drinking, horn around, doing whatever. But what it really means to Raylan is Raylan can be the bastard that he needs to be in order to take Mansell down and do something really horrible. That's why the daughter is been taken off the board, so to speak. So it kind of had a double meaning, and maybe to a certain degree, maybe she does know it means that too. I mean, I don't really know. The way she said it was obviously on the surface supposed to mean, hey, your daughter's not around, so you could be out on the town doing what you want to do. Instead, you're doing this, off the books protection gig. Whereas, what we know it to mean, and maybe what she sort of underbelly kind of meant was, now you can do the kind of, outlaw justice thing that you like to do.
Yeah, I mean, let's say overall, I mean, I think people they're expecting Raylan to do more, but he's trying to go by the book, and it's like he is playing catch up to Mansell, and it's, I mean, I'm sure like next episode we still have 4 more to go, that there will be more action. This wasn't another episode that was too action packed, but it's just more seeing what a fucking villain Mansell is. But I guess some people feel like they want to see more Raylan in this show, and I don't know, it's just he's there.
Hell, he's in almost every scene, I mean, except for the stuff that's primarily Mansell doing whatever he's doing, which is obviously, it would be weird if Raylan was in those scenes. Every other scene, Raylan's pretty much in it. So I don't get that argument. This was definitely, I will say, this of the 4 so far, this is the slowest episode, probably my least favorite, really exposition heavy. So I'm really hoping now that we are past the midway point, I hope that they ramp it up in the next few episodes. That would be good.
Like you're saying, overall, I think that, Raylan, the past 4 episodes, he's still a fish out of water. But as you said, he walks into the fucking hospital and stuff, and he's already commanding this air of presence and people looking up to him and shit. And he's kind of like unofficially taken over and shit. And that's going to play out because that's the thing with Justified. Justified, he's home on his home turf. So you can't, expect him to be the same way in Detroit as he was in Justified, because this is not his home turf.
Right. It's not even Miami. His new turf, you know what I mean? And he is starting to show a little bit of frustration. He wants to get back to Miami. He wants to get back to his daughter. He wants to get back to his regular job. He wants to get out of this town. Hard to blame him. So he wants to get this thing over with Mansell one way or the other.
But overall, like you said, it's definitely, a little slower of an episode, but I'm still having fun with it. I just said I'm not expecting every episode to be the Punisher. So I'm fine with that.
I think this is going to be one of those things that has to be judged overall more than it. You know what I mean? You're going to have to take it as a whole, as the whole limited series, as opposed to looking at it episode by episode. I mean, it's got its higher points. And again, I agree. This is definitely the slowest episode. Definitely, really even they probably could have put a lot of these points into either the previous episode or the next episode. They sort of stretched it out and really not a whole lot happens in this episode. There's a lot of exposition. I mean, the Albanian thing gets kind of introduced. And we get a little bit more of, what Mansell is capable of. But at the end, I mean, I think we kind of knew that already. So, I mean, if it pays off, and again, like I said, it's straying more from the source material. So I can't tell you what I really cannot say at this point, nor would I really even want to guess what that's going to mean for the end game of the show. Is it going to pull a training day, where like at the end there's a big confrontation, but Mansell walks away and then the Albanians are the ones to take him down, like at the end of training day. Is that what's going to happen? Or, I mean, I really don't even know at this point, and I'm fine not knowing. That's not a big deal. I'm enjoying the show. It's the weakest episode, no doubt. If there was people that are on the verge of giving up on the show, I'm willing to bet this is the episode that tips them off to go, I'm done with, I'm probably not going to stick around. If people are on the fence about it, but I mean, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we're doing the show. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with it.
It's like one of the things where people this is also like it always be a debate, but the whole binge model thing, because some people like love something, whether it's The Witcher or Stranger Things. A lot of people would say, oh well, the first 4 episodes of like say whatever Stranger Things weren't that they were so, but then like say part 2 comes out, then they binge the entire 8 episodes. Like, wow, you know what? That was a great 8 episodes. I'm like, well, it was a great overall 8 episodes, but sometimes a show, if you start dissecting individual episodes, this could become a problem. And
Yeah.
I mean, I look at it like a TV show like this, a season is no different than a movie. Some movies, they have a weak first act or second act or even third act, but you have to judge the film overall, not just in a certain act. Like I talked to you, I'm going to finish my video for Talk to Me. I thought that Talk to Me, the first 20 minutes were kind of weak, but once the 20-minute mark hits, the fucking movie picks up. And
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. What, just out of curiosity, final thoughts here, would you have, knowing what you know now, would you have preferred they dropped all 8 episodes and you could have just binged them at your convenience within like a couple days, or are you pretty satisfied with
no,
this week to week
I
thing?
said I'm satisfied with the week to week because I've said this before, and I've had a lot of conversations with friends and other YouTube people over the years that I still prefer the weekly episode breakdown because I feel like most people they want the binging, and just part of me, I don't know, I'm kind of tired of binging stuff. Like it's one thing where I've been watching Frasier with my kid, and Frasier lasted 11 fucking seasons. That's one thing for a show that's 20 years old, but something a comedy show, a drama show. I like one episode at a time. I like episode breakdowns of like one video at a time. I don't want to just binge an entire season, and I don't know, but that's just me.
I will tell you that one bad unintended consequence of the binge model is that say you and I, we both work a couple different jobs and we have busy lives and we do other YouTube shit and
Yeah.
Facebook stuff, whatever. So say this dropped when it originally did on the 18th, and they had released the entire show. Some noob goes in there and binge watches the entire thing and then posts spoilers. You know what I mean? Like someone who has, I guess in this case they would have 8 hours or whatever to binge the whole thing, and then they get online and just drop a bunch of spoilers. That's sort of an unintended consequence of the binge model thing is that somebody else watches it and they can get it, and maybe they post it online, and not every group like ours has the 1 week rule unless the drinker breaks it. So they get on there, and so somewhere on TikTok, YouTube, wherever else, whatever, IMDb chat room, whatever, and they draw. Oh man, I can't believe the end gunfight with Raylan and Mansell and blah blah blah. I mean, hell, you could get on TikTok and see that. I've already seen like the end fights and stuff from The Witcher season 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that happens a lot. That's definitely an unintended consequence. So I don't have to worry about that, because I think you and I have been catching this like as soon as it drops. Maybe me a little earlier tonight, just because I happen to be at a hotel and I happen to have FX and I could watch it as soon as I got off work. But ordinarily, we catch this as soon as it drops on Hulu. But yeah, that would be my only. Usually, I do enjoy the binge model, but yeah, if somebody has more time than me and I just don't happen to catch it, and then I accidentally get it spoiled for me, just because of that, I don't like that. That kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, not to mention that we talked about a friend of mine. Now we were practicing. He wants to start doing the Wheel of Time, but he wants to do one episode at a time. I was yeah, dude, because most people, yes, some of these shows are 8, 9, 10 episodes. They're 45 to 50 minutes. I only know certain people that can spend an entire day to sit there and watch 10, 50-minute episodes and then talk about it for like 5 hours. And it's also very time consuming to sit there. The whole binge thing, it's great if you work from home or if you don't work at all. But some of us that are working all the fucking time and have kids and lives, and I don't have 12 fucking hours to watch one season of a television show and then do a fucking 3-hour breakdown, guys. Like like not everybody's Mauler,
Right. Right.
And like, and
I
I don't say,
definitely.
you know,
I'm just now doing. I've been putting it off forever, and people have been busting my balls for years about this. But I just got the first 2 seasons of Peaky Blinders, and for that little bit for about a week, I didn't have internet. The roommate took the modem out when she moved out and stuff like that. And I didn't bother getting my own because what was I going to do? Just have it just for 1 week. So I've been watching Peaky Blinders on my Xbox and stuff like that. So but I mean, even then, it's just like I only can do like an episode or two at a time.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward. No, it's like you said. I recognize some episodes are slower, but overall, it's something. It gives me something on Wednesday to look forward to, which is also the biggest thing for we cut this out with the binging. It's like, oh, I binged all of Cobra Kai in Sunday. Okay, now what are you gonna watch next? Oh shit, I'm out of stuff. Like this gives me something like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Even the final season, even though it was shit, me and my cousin, 9 o'clock came, 8:30, we'd fucking stop at a pizza shop, get a 2 liter of soda or something. And like it was an event for like a lot of people. And then Monday morning we dissect it. And for this, ours is obviously smaller, but like, hey, this gives me something on Wednesday to look forward to. Like Enzo wants to do his streams on Monday, and I like making it something to look forward to as an event. It's like, get a drink, get some soda, get whatever, get some chips and shit, and just watch an episode, then dissect it. And it's more wholesome than just fucking 8 episodes in a row. And after we do one video, never talk about it again. Like,
yeah, I hear you. So, I hear you. Unbeknownst to me, last week when we were doing this, you were prepping to go be online with the man himself on the open bar. Yeah. I go get ready to go do my banquet dinner on Thursday, and I turn on open bar to listen to it while I'm cooking the banquet dinner, and lo and behold, I'm like, what the fuck? There's Chris sitting there. Yeah. You sneaky bastard. Good for you. Good for you.
I'll plug that here. Like I told everybody, I only talked to Dark Hour only because he's already had experience with that. And
fair enough.
I had to ask him, and like first thing he's like, and my first indication was, I'm gonna fucking tell everybody. He goes, dude, no, don't tell anybody, because it could be like the rabbit's foot, it could be karma. And like, you know what? He's had success with this, and I got to follow suit. And like that's why on Facebook, as soon as a drinker sent me an invite, then I made a Facebook post tagging everybody. Hey guys, in 5 minutes, check this out. But for 2 days, it was fucking like every 2 seconds I wanted to make a post so bad, and I'm like, I gotta wait. And that's why
that was the only reason I wanted to be able to get you as much exposure as possible. So I wanted to tag the whole group with it. We did manage to do that, but we didn't. I had to last minute hit up Michael Hagan and say, hey man, I'm working right now. Can you get in there and and plus I was still on Facebook restriction. I was like, get in there and tag the whole group. Put it up that Chris is in there with the big man right now.
Yeah, it was great. And I made a joke, but said I put my phone on airplane mode, and once we ended, I hit the end stream button. I turned my phone back on. Like I joked, my phone just like go all the notifications.
Oh yeah.
But no, and I said, before we end this, like I told Enzo, told you that, like, to me, said, I don't care. And I love saying this publicly, that whether it's 1K, 10K, 100 fucking K, I'm never going to forget where I came from. And I told Enzo, dude, I will always, unless I'm really stuck at work or something, I will find time. I was like, I'm not going to stop doing Justified with Wes. In fact, once we're done Justified, I got some other shows like maybe Banshee. I love to fucking watch with you. Like,
we could do that. We could make it a Wednesday. Yeah, we could do our every early Wednesday morning, whatever you want to call it. We could, have a live stream and do. Banshee definitely needs some attention, because it's not getting the attention that it deserves.
Like you said, for sure. I've been wanting to binge it, but it's time consuming. But that's always be my thing. Like, guys, to me, 1K is a number, 10K is a number, and because you see the drinker is constantly going on smaller channels, and he's promoting shit, and he's helping out people that got like 100 subs. And if I ever hit 10K, 20, whatever, I told Enzo, I was like, dude, now Enzo just passed. He's at 205. I'm like, awesome, dude. I was like, let's get you to 500. Let's get you to 1,000. And I want everyone to do good, because I see the drinker. I told people he gains nothing at all by helping me. He just does it because he's a fucking good dude. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're halfway through Justified Primeval, man. 4 more weeks, and that's it. We're gonna find out. Yeah. Here's the the big questions we're left with. Is Raylan maneuvering Mansell into a gunfight, or is he really trying to take him down the legit way? Are the Albanians going to be a big problem for Raylan and the police, or are they going to be a bigger problem for Mansell? Is that book anything more than a MacGuffin? Are we going to start getting introduced to some new characters? Are we going to see Raylan's daughter again before the end of the show? Is she going to pop back up? And I guess the biggest question we have this week is he going to bang out the fucking lawyer? Don't do it, Raylan. Don't do it for so many reasons. No, come on, buddy.
Mansell's such a piece of shit that at the end, Raylan's got to kill him. Come on, fuck it.
I don't know. I really don't. I honestly, I know it seems like, oh, Wes has read all the books, so he should have the inside drip. I really do not know. And I'm not just saying that. Anybody feel free. Go pick up the book online on your Kindle, or just go to your local library and get it. Yeah. I promise you, I'm not full of shit. Raylan is not in the book, so I'm flying just as blind as everybody else with this. So
yeah, well, until next week. But so we have 4 more to go.
All right, 4 more to go.
Peace out.
Stay top.